Hello, Richard here from Eagle 6. Welcome to another video, and we are going to be testing a Mp5K Cyma Pdw that was sent in, and wanting to repair it because the MOSFET wasn't working inside. Basically, you put it onto full auto and it was, doing all kinds of weird things. Obviously, do you replace it with another original MOSFET, or try and repair that MOSFET, or do you just, obviously with it being a V3 gearbox, just go straight ahead and install one of the large amount of aftermarket, ETU systems that are available now? So we put the Warhead, the Gate version 3, obviously the front wired, in there, so obviously that sorts out that particular problem, gives the customer the nice trigger response again. The customer said that the budget, obviously the main thing is reliability, but wanted, just like a decent gun, a lot of problem guns. He just wanted like just one that was good and working, and the budget was there. So we've gone ahead and put a Warhead Base 35K in, just to give it a little sort of wow factor to it. The customer said that the charge handle on the left hand side was broken, so we've sourced a new charge handle and put that in there. The customer said they didn't like the PDW style stock that was on there, so he's chosen a new stock, and we've put that new stock on there and source that, so that's on there. The customer didn't like the rear wired batteries, so we've put a battery into the top of the gun here, and done the wiring to suit, so it reaches that battery in the top there. And that is an 11 volt 1200 from Nuprol. What else did we do? We've done a Prometheus type ball barrel, because obviously, if you're trying to get some sort of extra wow for customers, there's obviously sort of low-hanging items like hop rubbers, barrels, MOSFETs, that do big changes to guns, and give a lot of wow, factor, and improvement, for, well, I was going to say for little money, it's quite a lot of money. So, but we've also done a Psionic R HOP. We've done the Prometheus type ball barrel, and for what little barrel there is in these things. So obviously gaining FPS can be an issue in these guns, because obviously how short the cylinder is, how short the barrel is. It can be quite a struggle on the MP5Ks, but with a Prometheus MS135 spring, which is quite a large spring obviously, and the fact that this is obviously short stroked already out of the box, so it comes short stroked. I think it's the Platinum Edition. We've managed to get 286 on some 2.8s, and we're building the build around 2.8s on this particular one, with the assumption that it's going to be a slightly higher rate of fire and also CQB, and just the general build it's been doing around 2.8s. There was no specific requirement for 3.2s, and just sort of with these sort of normal AEGs and air quotes that get dropped off, they're typically being used on 2.5s and 2.8s by customers, so that's what we've built it around. I think that's pretty much it. Obviously so obviously when we're doing the R HOP, so we noticed obviously after that was installed an extreme amount of lift on 2.8s. Now normally I say that's first world problems, and normally if it was my own personal gun I would probably just trade up the ammo, because I prefer the least amount of pressure inside the hop, basically, so that it's almost like in an off position. It's kind of like over hopping, so that way it's lovely and flat, and you don't have to push something through a patch in order to generate lift. Therefore it becomes a bulge instead of a flat contact patch, and that can be the downside to say having R HOP and needing to go on to 3/4 in order to lift it. So what you want ideally is in an off position, it's over hopping, and then use heavier ammos to bring the shot down, and that being the ultimate in flat trajectory, to get away from arced shots. But in this particular instance, obviously 2.8s is the goal. So we've been doing the build around the assumption of 2.8. So therefore, what I did is I actually modified the arm in the off direction, essentially, because if you took the nub out, it actually shot just fine. So clearly, obviously, in the combination of the flat nub and the arm, again, first world problems, that a stock Cyma Mp5K hop unit is over hopping as standard on an R hop. Again, like I say, first world problems. That's normally people don't complain about this. It's like, oh no, too much range. But like I say, I've gone in the off position, just widened the arm so that effectively the oval, allows the arm to sit a bit higher. So therefore, off is off. So and it's basically I think because obviously even in the off position, it was pressing down the arm to a small degree, which was just enough to overhop 2/8. A completely different story, I imagine, on 3.2s, but 2/8, that's what it is. So that's pretty much it in terms of modifications. Like I say, already pre-short stroked, very little we actually have to do in terms of that. Now, obviously, the specification, we could have gone to town the internals. However, the Cyma Platinums are fairly solid internal-wise. Again, you then have to balance, now, if I've done this build 1,000 times over, you tend to obviously know exactly what parts. I don't want to open up a can of worms and make a build much more too complicated than it needs to be by starting to change out, air nozzles and introducing potential issues there with obviously compatibility of parts. Suddenly you get an air leak, or because you fit the wrong nozzle, and then you're on the 5th build, the 6th build, the 7th build. I think obviously if we get to the point when we've done 15 of these, in short succession, then yeah, you can start to experiment on each different one that you do and try another new part here and there. You build these builds up over time, but in this particular instance, the Cyma internals are pretty solid, so I'd rather go down the route of seeing how long they last than, like I say, just trying to gut and replace everything to start off with and unnecessarily increase the customer's budget. So we're going to run with as is the internal parts and see where the weak points are. That's what we've done over with NGRS, but just over the last 10 years, and that takes time. And like I say, this may be the only one we'll ever do. So I've done Mp5Ks before, but there's a big difference between say just getting this one gun in once a year versus the NGRS stuff that we sell 3 a week, of the same gun, so it's but like I say, it's done. AEG is an AEG, so and hopefully everything's all good. Hope for the customer. Like I say, I was going for something a bit sort of CQB, a bit wowy, so hence the 35K in combination with the Lipo. Obviously, all of his previous guns generally had this long wind up and fire every single one. This is dramatically different, and hopefully we're going to send this back, and the customer's hopefully just going to be enjoying it, so that's what we're going for, a bit of enjoyment. So we're going to test now just to demonstrate it working, as we do with all of our builds. These are meant to be about talking about the builds for the customer, but also to obviously demonstrate them working in all functions. So obviously we've got single shot. Full auto. So as you can see, it's a little spicy on the rate of fire, which is good. Obviously, it being a CQB gun, we wanted a little bit of a wow factor, so like I say, so we paired the 35K with the short stroke. If it wasn't short strokes, we would have had to do that, in my opinion. But like I say, we counted the teeth, and I'm pretty sure as standard they're about a 4-tooth short stroke, which is quite interesting really for a stock gun. But obviously that meant that the FPS was fairly low on the standard gun. I think we were getting 250 on the stock spring, so we've managed to obviously eke out a bit of extra thing, and obviously we've tested it to 60 meters, so if somebody wants to, they can use this as a long one, but obviously the size and nature of the gun sort of leads itself to CQB, doesn't it? There we go. So all sorted. We hope you enjoy. Lovely fun build. Have fun. Thank you.